mum in the audience, which was not hard.
We're reporting him already.
But it is literally white people, and the Bank of African royalties.
Charlie 448.
Yes, I'm going to find me a case number, please. Show me around to CDC.
No officers have arrived. Negative, they're on the unconscious call in Banquetti.
Yeah.
Execution was by the short
Yeah. Oh, come on. Come on then.
Flushed with
Two things on that. Noise ordinance down in Driscoll, 210 Daisy Road. Can you send the sequence of events to our fax machine and patrol?
Last task is to tackle the dogs.
I don't have the date of birth. Cross-reference address.
And biting. Zoe and Paul will need to be on the same page to turn this war zone back into a happy home.
06 in the area.
This is still play.
Stopping your dog's play.
Listed on the call.
The Union belongs to us all. The state of our union.
Center 425.
Version B.
425 on
The
info.
state of our union is strong. With courage, with faith in our democratic foundation, and the human spirit it fosters. That the
715-1044. 10-4, look at that.
I don't think they're going home.
Nah, you can't do that.
Wing up.
He's the one I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is. You turn west on 665 and you go up that first street. His ranch is in the back. It's usually him and a guy that works for him. A tall, white, skinny guy with a beard. He's a consumer. I've never seen any firearms on him, but he always has ranges, like targets, everything set up all over property that are shot up, so it looks like he does have long arms. Yeah, we're on north of 665 on that road. Yeah, it's north of 665. It's once you turn on that little, I think it's Austin, that little cleachy dirt, messed up road. It's the only thing down there. I'll have my lights on, you'll see it. 10-4, yeah, I don't think I've ever been out there, but I think I've heard stories.
She was 17 and a half. And she's accepting the idea to see him again the following day. So she was young, but she was also adventurous. If a relationship can bring you to an extraordinary level of life experience.
Yes, and the 4 would be with the 1.
When the affair began, Marie-Therese was a teenager.
She was very young when she met the constables. She was 17.
She was 17 and a half. And she's accepting the idea to see him again.
A white van parked in front. And were you still going to be out of service at the precinct? Gonna be 1655 with Bravo 470. Good.
Bev.
Waldron and Frank Robert John 0468.
You really can.
Frank Robert John 0468 somewhere.
With her results starting in under a minute. The rolls? Goodness me.
That you clean forever. Here's your... Get yourself a tub.
Are you bending over when it comes to cleaning? Is the rubbing and scrubbing...
I've been concerned about poor suction.
And it just makes the whole experience more enjoyable, I think.
Can you see yourself coming here quite regularly?
Oh, for sure. For
yeah?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's not far.
And I searched the correction. I searched the subject, and since I don't have a date of birth, it's not coming up with any information. Do you have any other information? And that phone number doesn't have history.
Negative. I was just advised by the supervisor of Driscoll that he may be 29.
Le fumier.
Le but de cet outil, c'est qu'on voit donc on va régler la profondeur de l'outil, mais ça va permettre au sol de se aérer, d'avoir des vers de terre, que les vers de terre puissent travailler, décomposer la matière organique et donc le restituer à la vigne.
Des parcelles qui font des cuvées spéciales.
Parce que tout compte fait, il y a encore combien de gens
Location? Kalahari Prescott, David William Frank, 6787. David William Frank, 6787, Kalahari Prescott.
L'homme qui voulait bien faire un livre de François Taillandier.
We're gonna have an unsecured door here. Let's go ahead and issue his case number. 425, case number 131-0131. George Frank 9008, Anna 450, 10-4.
Mais là, tu vois, dans ces cagettes, tu as ou c'est Coralie, c'est local Coralie PBI, ou c'est bio dans les cagettes vertes. Il n'y a pas que les retraités qui viennent au magasin, on a aussi les jeunes producteurs qui drainent avec. Voilà, attends, je vais t'aider. Hop là. Tu es garé loin?
Je suis juste là-bas, devant le bar.
Une bonne partie de la génération de Noël a pu rester et travailler au village.
Referencing a male causing disturbance outside. Intoxicated.
Je viens chercher mon petit poulet, mes œufs.
Léa, elle aussi, a grandi à Corrence et a choisi l'élevage.
Attends sur la tête. Hop.
Ces volailles lui donnent 200 œufs par jour.
Tu les vois heureuses de vivre, elles gambadent où elles veulent, elles font ce qu'elles veulent. Du coup, t'imagines que ça se retrouve là-dedans, quoi. C'est une façon d'être aussi, je pense, avec les animaux, pas de pression, toujours doucement, prendre le temps de faire les choses. Je pense que ça fait partie du bio aussi.
Aujourd'hui, elle vend toute sa production et a même pu embaucher son père.
Ça marche très bien. Les gens sont demandeurs de produits de qualité. Ça n'y a pas de problème. N'importe quel touriste qui vient ici, ben, il peut avoir des œufs, de la volaille, du miel, de l'huile d'olive, du vin, du fromage, des légumes. Voilà. Après, tout ça, ça se fait pas en un jour non plus, quoi. Il fallait nous laisser le temps aussi de s'installer, mais je pense que c'est pas fini non plus.
Autoproclamé premier village bio de France, Corrence est en passe de gagner son pari. Construire une économie locale, respectueuse de l'environnement et porteuse d'avenir. Et l'une des clés pour y parvenir, c'est peut-être l'attachement des habitants à la commune.
Après, ce qui est bien, c'est que tu réussisses à trouver du joli teint. Parce que tu sais, à cette époque, il est pas...
report the strike?
Yeah, 10-4. I'm getting flagged down over here.
Charlie 460. Bravo 460, go ahead.
Confirm back for Andrea Holland.
Your 10-4 is calling back.
Signs of shots being fired out here.
Crestbrook Apartment 2. It's going to be an open line. Can you hear a male and a female arguing? Addresses from the CAD history.
Charlie 420, 10-4. 410 around.
It's going to be 2 counts.
Sure. Adam 425.
We're getting another call from the alarm company. They got a hold of a key holder. Noel Luna is en route. ETA about 10 minutes, driving a black truck.
Adam 425. We get 18 on that. We were able to secure the door and go out a fire exit.
10-4.
Can you go ahead and cancel the case number, please?
10-4.
But frankly, many Palestinians would now acknowledge you've lost. You have lost in the sense that your interests are never going to be
not very loud. You have to actually strain to hear it, and you can clear the call. Clear any units has in a rug.
But in your absence, all Danes and Northmen in Everwich have either been killed or fled. Everwich will be mine. There will be no fight. None. Unless it's with Siegfried and Eric. I will fight.
So to get calls reopened.
Cool. Copy in.
I'm your confessor.
In just 2 years,
Search him.
he'd been responsible for the torture and execution of
Yeah, that's loud. How does it make you feel when they react like that?
Well, it just brings the whole thing back because they wouldn't be reacting like that if they hadn't been stolen.
Do you blame yourself?
Stop, come on. It's okay. It's okay.
people with serious objections to the witchfinder's cruel methods now joined the growing chorus of opposition against him. One man in particular would go to any lengths to bring him down.
John Gall was a Puritan preacher here in the village of Great Staunton. He hated everything that Matthew Hopkins stood for. And when he heard that
tall, unknown clothing walking down the street, opening vehicle doors.
One man in particular would go to any lengths to bring him down.
John Gall was a Puritan preacher here in the village of Great Staunton. He hated everything that Matthew Hopkins stood for. And when he heard that the Witchfinder General was planning to come to his parish, he began to preach openly.
I used to see on the news that when they... A trade that was not taken up in England till this time.
It was risky for a lowly priest to take on the superstar status of Hopkins, but Gall was too angry to care.
Before he discovers what?
He accused Hopkins of incompetence and self-interest.
Charlie 439.
Hopkins' response to Gall's sermons was to go on the attack. He wrote to one of Gall's parishioners warning of the consequences of disagreeing with him on the matter of witches.
In and around her village.
Writes,
She's now
known a minister in Suffolk,
a court facing serious charges and may well end up in prison. You know, it's easy for you as an Arab Israeli to say things, but
John
much
Lowe's,
more
to the
difficult
gallows.
for protesters in the West Bank
He could easily do it again.
not to jeopardise their own security
But
in
Hopkins
this call.
But Hopkins was being overconfident. Gall wasn't intimidated. Instead,
480 for disturbance in progress at 237 Edward, 237 Edward Street. It's going to be an open line with a female yelling, and they did a phone trace and came up with this address.
He says, every old woman with a wrinkled face, a furrowed brow, a hairy lip, a gobber tooth, a squint eye, a squeaking voice, or a
300 block of
scolding
West
tongue,
Avenue, D. David. It's going to be a gold Ford vehicle speeding.
Local cat by her side is not only suspected, but pronounced for a
RP
witch.
wants contact. She's at
Gall went
314
on to
West
say
Avenue D.
that Hopkins
Christina.
had lucratory skill, which is to say the whole thing was a money-making scheme, that the Witchfinder had no special skill or ability and was a job that a group of influential Norfolk gentlemen. When they read it, they were outraged. In spring 1647, they went into open court in Norwich to present their objections to visiting Westminster judges. Hopkins' abusive techniques and his cavalier attitude. Hopkins' abusive techniques and his cavalier attitude to the law would be his undoing.
They must be tortured. Make them say anything. Make them say anything, which is a way to tame a wild colt. Besides this unnatural watching, they were extraordinarily warped till their feet were blistered, and so through that
Hopkins' wisest course of action would probably have been to ignore the accusations. But they had thrown down the gauntlet, and Hopkins picked it up. Matthew Hopkins' pamphlet. It's called The Discovery of Witches, and in it he prints the allegations made by the Norfolk gentleman against him. Matthew Hopkins' pamphlet. It's called The Discovery of Witches, and in it he prints the allegations made by the Norfolk gentleman against him, alongside his responses.
Showing off for an alarm,
This
401
one says,
East Avenue A.
all that the Witchfinder does is to...
Getting 2 alarms for the lobby door and lobby motion.
therefore he
No key orders.
rides, goes to towns to have employment, promises them fair promises, but it maybe doth nothing for it.
Hopkins denies everything.
I demand but 20 shillings a town.
We know from the surviving financial records that Hopkins was lying. He was routinely paid far more than 20 shillings. But the most astonishing thing about this book is that The astonishing thing about this book is that he reprints accusations of illegal torture.
31.
There have been an abominable, inhumane and unmerciful trial of these poor creatures by tying them and heaving them into the water, a trial not allowable by law or conscience, and I respect covenant with the devil. So Hopkins' justification was that James covenant with the devil. So Hopkins' justification was that James, a king who had been dead for 22 years, had once approved of swimming witches. Hopkins failed to appreciate the danger of publicising the accusations of illegal torture and of fleecing the public. Demand for his skills evaporated. The Witchfinder General had hunted his last. We'll never know if Hopkins would have ended up in court for breaking the law, because fate intervened first.
I can make that back up. I just need to drop something off here.
On Thursday, the 12th of
You're going to take it 340, that's making the turnaround to come up on the entrance.
On Thursday, the 12th of August, 1647, in the village where his spectacularly bloody career began barely 2 years earlier, death of over 100 innocent people.
Okay guys, I'm moving up on top. Traffic is running smooth.
Death of over 100 innocent people. Perhaps Hopkins truly believed he was doing God's work, but he was also a ruthless innocent people to make his name and fortune. The hatred and hysterical fear of witches that he kindled was not easily extinguished. The hatred and hysterical fear of witches that he kindled was not easily extinguished. Over the next 100 years, more than 500 innocent people were arrested, tried, and hanged in a trial 45 years after his death advocated a course that hath been taken in England for the discovery of witches. Hopkins had found new admirers in a small a trial 45 years after his death advocated
Negative and no light.
Lonnie out here. Lonnie separated them. The guy's asking for a ride over to off on Delta's side.
You was the
well, you can call a taxi.
Realmente comecei
Driving people all over Hell's Creation, and it's just a waste of time and a liability issue. But yeah, he's got a few dollars, you can call a taxi and go get his bill dropped off.
No, just Lonnie asked me. I didn't hear the whole story. He just asked me if I can do it. I wanted to run it through you first.
Sam, sen Jup Trop'un dostusun, öyle değil mi?
Transport clear. Shanta disturbance. This occurs 3727 Woldridge. Reservoir Cove. Apartment 11 David.
Gilbert, either. Yeah, stand by. Let me look it up really quick. Careful. Put a case number on it, please.
Call, they're advising that the subject's been drinking.
Five-year-old girl is jumping on bed, fell off. You want to start medic? Just check her out, make sure she's okay.
I'm hollow, 7313, I'm hollow. somebody advised that somebody was knocking the door and walking around the building. Gas department advised they do have a crew on site and they're wrapping it up. They're finishing up right now. Can we cancel?
At Hamlin Middle School, there's an open door. I'm just going to make sure it's the cleaning crew.
10-4.
Going to run injured party. Okay. Yeah, just document on the cat call then. Is that simple? 10-4. (306-0132). Repeating 180-306-0132. 0132.
David.
Can you show me a route to Everhard and Yorktown? I'll be signal for you. That'll be clear 5A.
Be 14th and McKenzie on. Adam 94561 14th and McKenzie.
For this house, I have a phone problem.
4. The call at 1901 Caribbean, South 455, so there was phone problems in the past. Did you want a unit to go out there or clear it out? (2256), Charlie 370.
Were you able to confirm that warrant for Rodolfo?
Email or advisor ready, 30 miles, 0.0.
So I guess verbal meaning it's good to go, but they're just going to fax something over, correct?
10-4.
Okay, 10-4. I guess if any new updates come around, 365 will have the 12, so if you can let them know.
10-4, the Charlie 365 now. 10-4.
Thank you, ma'am.
455, you can clear.
Yeah, they'll fax it over eventually. Okay, simple.
Star 455, can you get that loud call, Bimini and Belmont? Star 470, can you bounce until you advise Bimini and Belmont, advising that there's motorcycles that are revving, about 6 people there. Go for it, right there. Into the net. Rodriguez, Mark 10-4.
Base 1044.
10-4, thank you for your time. Return to base safely. Parking garage. Green hatchback.
Oh, 442, they're going to turn it down. Clear.
On Rodriguez, Martha, you can get 29 all the way around. Has a Class C driver's license. Expires 8 of 2018. Eligible out of this city.
Everything's 10-4 on the 600 block of West Avenue C for routine patrol.
Yes, sir. I have an arrest sheet. It's going to be today's date, number 130. If you could look at it, please.
Yeah, I guess they give me about 10 minutes. I turned this stupid computer off by accident, so I'm redoing it now.
To info reference, message from CDC reference one of your arrest reports. Send me from the CDC, Lieutenant Moreno is requesting contact. Number's going to be 361-826-2512. That's 361-826-2512. That's going to be in reference. Need to collect the arrest report and a second warrant. That's going to be ending in 0086.
The other guy had a second warrant. I was only told about one warrant.
'7 Buick, white in color, to an Earl Ratcliffe, 4453 Lake Georgia City off. I should read 1443.
Bravo 430.
Bravo 430.
58 arrest. I'm be around to the service center. On my way back.
My mum picked all our jobs before we picked my subjects to school. I was going to be a doctor. Got as far as A-level biology, and we had to cut open a rat. Remember that? You had to cut open a rat, and I discovered I couldn't stand the sight of blood or anything vaguely biological.
I don't know. They figure out like 3 hours later. I don't know which one it is, man. I got 2 subjects that day.
The doctor thing was
this afternoon.
Said I'm going to be an engineer, and my mum was like,
I know one JC James Coat or Charles Ocean Tom. That's the one that has a warrant for my Ramsey County.
In my family.
But I did run both subjects, and only that one had a warrant.
I was an engineer. I worked as an engineer. For years. I worked for Otis repairing lifts. That's what I did. And my mum was proud. Yeah. And then I left that and decided to become a comedian. My mum was not impressed. She's like, comedy? Comedy? What the hell is comedy? I'm going to tell my friends in Nigeria.
Still mobile round?
My daughter is a clown. But luckily for me, within 6 months of starting comedy, I got on this talent show called The Big Big Talent Show, hosted by Jonathan Ross. Got on this show. So I called my mum. I was like, Mama. My mum's like, oh yeah. That's good, very good, interesting, very good. Call me when you get to the final. I'm not interested in this quarter-final, semi-final rubbish. Call me for the final. So sure enough, I got through to the final, filmed live on television, live. Jonathan Ross is hosting.
Charlie 430 on mobile, sir.
My mum comes down with a set.
Hey, Ron.
Jonathan Ross is interviewing me after my set, and he sees my mum in the audience, which was not hard to spot. It was literally white people, white people, white people, and then a bank of African royalty just... White people, and then a bank of African royalty just...
Adam 440 clear.
Adam 440 clear.
So Jonathan points to my mum and he goes, "Is that your mum? That Gina's mum is in the audience." And I...
6530.
Yes, that is right. I am the reason the clown is here. I am the reason. I always knew she was going to be a clown. When she was 3, I bought her the big shoes.
Sorry, you get that minor at Staples and SPD. Staples and SPD is a 2-vehicle accident.
Where's my mom? Where's my mom over there? She's here.
8776. Make that distortion circle. Charlie 430, correct plate is paper plate 36 William 6570. On David Victor, Zebra 8, Victor 7.
And David Victor, Zebra 8, Victor 7, 1100 Ram Morgan.
I'm just getting to the service center now. I'm trying to hunt down a jacket. I left it in the unit. I'll be with you here in a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Cool.
Bravo 320. You got me now. Bravo 320. Still alive. Delta 475 traffic. On George Frank 7937. On George Frank 7937, Staples in Maryland. Bound approaching Everhart. 2313. She's at Valero, SBD, and Rodfield.
Are you done soon?
Sorry, but we need to practice hand-to-hand combat in case an enemy...
Not at this time.
You can go put me on. I'm looking around right now. I'm not seeing nobody. You in the parking lot?
10-4.
The guns out of our hands and they slide way across the room.
What could you...
Delta 475 on info.
Delta 460 clear.
I'm setting up scene.
Delta 460 clear. Can you reroute to Delta 3 location, Halton Air?
Bad.
Robo puppy receiving.
Bender, are you jealous of Fry's puppy? That's so adorable.
Jealous? Not when I have the love of Robo Puppy here. Robo Puppy, lick my cheek.
Robo puppy preparing to lick cheek. Robo puppy commencing cheek licking.
What I'm looking at, I see count 1, assault caused bodily injury, count 2, terrorist threat with 1 warrant number. Is that what you're seeing?
Good news, everyone. The clonomat is ready. Finally.
Robo puppy commencing 2-hour yipping.
10-4, try 4 copy.
No, but it's alright.
Anyways, they're going to be QOL at catching Goldridge and Stony Creek.
Are they together?
10-4.
Okay, for whatever reason I can't hear either of the radios. Alright, thank you.
For the midterm.
1300 copy.
So the 310K phone is on?
Delta 3. I want to be in the 3200 block of Blanco Court, checking that area.
3200 block of Blanco Court, 10-4. But we're going to fax it back and have them send the 2 charges over.
Okay. 10-4.
Bye.
What's the traffic?
Suspicious activity at 415 Jackson, 415 Jackson. Copy, point. Good. 4 Lincoln Williams, you at 4546.
Got to be going westbound back towards the highway. I'm gonna go back and check that area, I guess.
Delta 310-4.
I'm in here.
460 in the area.
Food, and I want us to eat like an event. It's called mindful eating. Who's ready to give it a go?
So, yep.
Let's give it a go.
A124.
Yeah, service time.
10-4.
He faces 2 charges in relation to the Parsons Green terror attack last year. The European Court of Justice in the case of Jean-Marie Le Pen, who contested a European Parliament decision to recover more than €320,000 from him. And the body of Italian footballer David Astori will be taken to the Italian Football Association in Florence, where people will be able to pay their last respects. Sports news, let's hand you over to the BBC Sports Centre.
Hello there, I'm Tolson Tollett. Coming up on your Wednesday sport briefing, the Champions League last 16 ties continue. Serena Williams is set to make her competitive comeback in Indian Wells later, and FIFA start the countdown to the Football World Cup. The Champions League matches come thick and fast at this time of year, and there are two more for you on Wednesday night. All eyes will be on London as Tottenham, led by this man, Harry Kane, will try to reach quarter their way. The Italian champions who have reached two of the last three finals with a 2-0 lead in the opening 10 minutes of the first leg, but were pulled back to 2-2 thanks to Kane and a free kick from Christian Eriksen.
And in the same time trying to enjoy, because it's a game to enjoy. I think it's fantastic. But look, we need to think that we can win.
Premier League leaders Manchester City should have a much easier task ahead of them in Wednesday's other last 16 tie. They're at home to Basel with a 4-goal cushion after a 4-0 win in Switzerland. 4-goal cushion after a 4-0 win in Switzerland. Manager Pep Guardiola is expected to rotate his squad. After more than a year away from the game for the birth of her first child, Serena Williams will make her long-awaited return to tennis. 23-time Grand Slam champion will face Serena Diaz in the first round of Indian Wells, and Williams says she's slowly getting.
Is a new day, and every day I should be getting better, and so as long as I'm moving forward, even if it's at a turtle's pace, I'm okay with that.
LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers are back in action later in the NBA, and the Cavs.
FM 665, County Road 22A.
LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers are back in action later in the NBA. And the Cavs are in need of a win, with just 3 wins in the last 7. They're travelling to Denver to take on the Nuggets, a team they lost to just 3 days ago. Also on Wednesday, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to have to step up their game. They're there to beat West. In case you missed it, holders Real Madrid, along with Liverpool, are the first teams through to the Champions League quarter-finals after respective aggregate wins over Paris Saint-Germain and Porto. Real went through 5-2 on aggregate. It was lost, but minutes later, Edinson Cavani scored to level it on the night before Casemiro
just advise you the male's locked in the bathroom.
And their place in the last 8.
They're in the area.
Liverpool also got through to the last 8 despite neither them nor Porto scoring on the night at Anfield. Sadio Mane scored a hat-trick in the first leg but couldn't find the target here. And Vincent Abubakar had
Shoreline coming up to park. George Zebra 1259.
Had chances, but the match ended without a goal. Now, one video in particular has caught our eye on social media. Tuesday marked video with some former greats doing keepy-uppies around the world. Maradona was one of them, as was former Denmark goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel.
Okay, y'all going to be dealing with her all night because they're not going to take her at base. If you have to, just kick it open.
But our personal favourite was FIFA President Gianni Infantino having a kick-around with Russian President.
Repeating 14525. And the name is Navarro. 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 10-4, thank you.
Our thanks to Tolson for that. Now, Picasso's young lover, Marie-Therese Walter, inspired some of his most celebrated works of art. And a new exhibition at London's Tate Modern focuses on Picasso.
In the mornings during the week, about 8 o'clock,
model focuses on Picasso's work from the year 1932 and includes The Dream and He in a Black Armchair. One of Picasso's portraits of Walter sold recently for nearly £50 million, as our arts correspondent Dave.
Around 8, that can happen. They have someone that can evaluate her at that time during the working hours.
There's a lot of emotion in this exhibition. It's kind of
She already left. She got the band on her arm.
into lusts and into life.
If she doesn't, then I guess...
Normally a tape show would be a retrospective of a life's work, but this is just 1 year of Picasso.
She left against the hospital rules, or what? Was she already
This is
checked in?
Picasso, and this is his wife,
She
Olga.
just left. That's the call that we had originally. I guess
But when you look at the paintings, it's another place.
Yeah, hopefully they haven't kicked her out of the system.
Wherever you look, you see the same.
Gone, like 45 minutes or so, they kick them out.
Wherever you look, you see the same crop of blonde hair, the same profile. And here she is again. The same hair, the same profile.
10-4. Who's the ID unit? Was that Neil?
This is Diana. 2 generations may have passed, but I think you can probably see a certain family likeness.
What I think of it as a granddaughter when I walk in an exhibition like this is that it's not only a testimony of...
Ready for welfare check, 6902 Sadler Lane, 6902 Sadler Lane, apartment 202.
She is everywhere. Picasso was approaching 50 when the affair began, and Marie-Thérèse was a teenager.
Fetish, first name of Alma, date of birth 12/2/91, 12/2/91, white female.
Go to mobile phone request.
10-4 Charlie 3 copy.
She was 17 and
Indeed, a Marie-Thérèse Picasso can now go for more than 100 million. But that's the art market.
Did you still need him to come out there to Goldbridge?
Paintings. David Solato, BBC News.
You want to go out there and get a hold of 350 and 450, they're out there.
Recently, when this photo Michelle Obama at the National Portrait Gallery in Washington. Now, the picture was captured by a bystander also waiting to see the painting. Well, if things couldn't get any more exciting for her, today the two met in person. They've even had a dance party. As you can see, Michelle posting the video on Twitter and told Parker herself, and maybe one day I'll proudly look up at a portrait of you for that day. Well, today we've been asking you your nominations for a Barbie doll to mark International Nicola Adams, should I say, the Olympic boxing champion. There she is. There she is, proudly holding her Barbie doll, saying she's absolutely honoured to be chosen to be one of the chosen to be one of the set of Barbies. So we asked you for your views. Well, you've sent them in. So some of the nominations include Laura Pidcock, who's a Labour MP, but also I want to show you Harriet Tubman, who is one of your nominations against the slavery movement in the US. That's one of the nominations.
Hello there. Yesterday it fell the charts here, and temperatures really struggled to get much above freezing. Contrast that with the temperatures in the south, where we got up to 11 degrees Celsius with a bit of sunshine and light winds. Didn't feel too bad at all, but of course we didn't have that kind of weather in Scotland. No, instead of hills of Scotland yesterday, another snow day with transport disruption and big queues on the Central Belt motorway across E1 and risk of a few icy stretches out and about. Then all eyes to the southeast because we've got a very low pressure that's coming up from the channel. There's uncertainty about this rain, but it could be really quite extensive, in fact more extensive than this across Wales and southeast England, and potentially slower to clear as well. Either way,
one driver possibly intoxicated.
A bit of sunshine.
Second vehicle going to be a green Nissan.
There'll be some showers across northwest today, some of those wintry ground and showers later.
That patient that you're getting calls on was treated for something
across southwest England, but for many of it,
but they're going to see if they can contact you after that.
cloud will tend to break up and some sunny spells at times through the afternoon. Temperatures, well, coming up in Scotland, highs of 6 degrees. We'll have a quiet day on Friday, a lot of dry weather with some sunshine. However, an area of low pressure will approach from the cloud will thicken. Afternoon, we'll start to see outbreaks of rain arrive here. Into Wales and central southern England.
Bravo 460, I'm 58 with an arrest.
Within you. Some of the biggest dinosaurs of all, those were the dinosaurs that made these footprints.
They're shouting shame, shame, every time a cloud appears.
Delta 460, clear traffic.
460 clear.
The physical feeling of being on the moon was like walking around on a job.
For bringing the world closer, the BBC World Service on digital radio and online. Every destination has new secrets to discover.
Wow, this place is just hewn out of rock.
It's incredible to believe that no one really knew about it.
The travel see the world differently. The Travel Show this weekend on the BBC News Channel.
37 navigation.
How you do them.
Adam 425, show me on info.
425 on info.
This sport relieves every step counts.
Uniform 4 clear.
Billion steps challenge.
Uniform clear.
Come on, Gordon, get those knees up.
Adam 410, being told to mail on foot somewhere in Mueller.
So get the app, get counting, and help us beat 1 billion steps every day.
And update your calls. Another caller is advising there's going to be 4 vehicles involved, to include a Honda Elantra Silver,
This is your business
a
briefing.
black Ford
I'm
Focus,
Sally
and a gray
Let's take
passenger
a look
car.
at what's leading in business news. The White House's top economic advisor steps down just hours after
Charlie 420, show you en route.
firm on imposing tariffs on steel.
For Charlie 330.
Charlie 430, I'm clear traffic to be in route 2, I'm closer.
Proposed steel and aluminium tariffs and the consequences for the American economy, for jobs and the threat of a trade war.
Service are still out of service at the precinct.
No, I'm out of service, regular
in New York for us had more detail.
Gary Cohen has
I'm but I'm showing you still out of the precinct. You're clear from the precinct now and out in the field.
Vociferously defended this past week. He is known as defended this past week. He is known as someone who supports free trade. His background was, of course, he worked at Goldman Sachs. He is a Democrat. He has said that he supports pro-business policies, and he has clashed with President Trump on a host of issues. The thing that they seem to agree on, frankly, was the ground. So when we saw President Trump come out this afternoon saying that he once more believed that he wanted these steel and aluminum tariffs to be instituted. It seems like it was a done deal.
George King David 9298.
So what is the latest on the transatlantic
King David 9298. Ray Morgan, Agnes.
Today, the European off this week. So the Commission has so far stated its response would be fully compatible with World Trade Organization rules. The EU's drawn up a target list of 100 US goods worth some $3.5 billion. Many would have a maximum political impact as well. So we've got them among the goods. We've got the iconic US motorbike brand. Speaker,
10-4, Adam 450, can you be around to back him up at Agnes and Ray Morgan?
About the fact he's not for these trade tariffs. Then you've got Bourbon Whiskey.
Attention all units, Adam 440 has a vehicle still rolling. Agnes and Ray Morgan, Agnes and Ray Morgan, I'm going to be eastbound Agnes, for 12033.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Orange juice is a key export for Florida, a vital swing state in US elections. And there's the ultimate example of the classic Americana Levi jeans, of course, a US firm that relied on Europe for a 20% jump in sales. Just where the row is already hitting business. Electrolux, Europe's largest appliances maker, is freezing a $250 million investment in a Tennessee factory over fears that Trump's tariffs could dent its competitiveness. Well, let's speak to Poppy Carnell, who's Chief Trade. Poppy, this sounds like it's ratcheting up, doesn't it?
Copy additional, please. John Henry, X-ray 1861.
On his promise, i.e. signing off on the tariffs this week. But Europe's already ready with its retaliation. Talk us through Europe's response.
To arrive, can you have them check it, Chick-fil-A for the other unit, or the other equal to
we have that final decision. There are still some people here that are hopeful that maybe they can still persuade him to back down. But certainly the mood here in Brussels
King Henry 8178. King Henry 8178.
So there are lots of meetings between the government to look at this list of products that you've already named. We're also looking at other measures, so on a safeguard investigation of the EU's own, for example.
Somebody could get a call from 4550 Denver. Suspicious subject,
that could take something like 18 months. That's not a quick response, is it?
We just had a call and request contact.
The slowest 18
rules on this. That could take something like 18 months. That's not a quick response, is it?
The WTO option is definitely the slowest. 18 months would be lucky. These cases can take a very long time, which is why the EU wants to have immediate measures now with this list of products so they can start imposing their own tariffs. So they've got timelines to respond to Trump.
Some looking at this from the outside do argue, well, actually, you know, the European Union's own tariffs on cars made in the US coming into Europe are
yes, that is indeed the case. But really, the issue here is that the tariff that he's threatening on cars is
2:30 arriving
in response to the EU's own response to his first tariffs. So you can see that it's really an escalation of tit for tat, and it's the nature.
We're just still waiting for them to pass it over.
Of the response that is probably the most concerning.
And what do you think will happen, Poppy, next? Do you think we're on the brink of a trade war, or do you think this is a businessman and hoping that everything will work its way out?
We're stopped at Sunrise. We've contacted the driver now.
We're contacting the driver now.
He's been also including NAFTA negotiations within the discussions of tariffs and saying that maybe Canada and Mexico, for example, can have exemptions to these tariffs. So it's a little bit confusing on what exactly he wants to achieve with this response. But certainly the cards seem to be on the table. Let's not get too...
Avenue, strike.
correspondent at MLEX based in Brussels. Well, let's now talk cars, because as you know, if you're watching this programme, the Geneva Motor Show is well underway. The industry...
Delta 310-4, and Delta 3, just be advised, we know Adam 4, Adam 440 had a vehicle not stopping at Sunrise Foods, on Ram Morgan and Agnes, and they just pulled into Sunrise Foods off of 44.
And he's taken some time off from meeting the big bosses to discuss some of the big issues of the day. Instead, he's looking into the crystal ball to see what motoring might be like in years or even decades.
But they were hit out here.
Here in Geneva,
That's correct.
I'm surrounded by hundreds of cars which are either on the market already or soon to go on sale. But what I really like about shows like this one is you get an indication of what manufacturers think we'll be driving in a few years' time. So, let's take a look into the future. Looks like it's all going to be one crash. Do take a seat, because there's plenty of room in here. Now, one thing you might notice looking around is there's no driver. And that's because this is a robot taxi. It is the future after all. It's electric, it's clean, it's green. It's an alternative to buses or trams or other forms of public transport. So in one sense it is a taxi. It's a new concept from Toyota, and because it's from the future, as you'll see in a moment, it has funky internal lighting. It's also electric, self-driving, but at least it does have a steering wheel for when you really feel like taking control. Or how about this? It's the new Nueces concept from Italian design house Icona. And as you can see, it's basically a living room on wheels. Now, Icona says this isn't being planned for tomorrow, it's for the day after tomorrow. It's a distant future idea. But as you can see, lots and lots of space. Sleep. So that's what I'm going to do. Good night. And if futuristic really isn't your thing, don't worry, you can always come here to the David Brown Automotive stand, where you can find a new take on an...
Let's brief you now on some of the other business stories. A deal to take over disgraced Harvey Weinstein's production company's collapse. It's the latest dramatic twist in the long-running saga over the future.
He opened the door, had the razor blade
film
to his
studio,
neck,
which
put it
is
down.
on the brink of bankruptcy. Just last week, an investment group gave the green light on creating an all-woman run studio, but they abandoned the venture for now.
He's wishing that he dropped an ice.
They abandoned the venture for now. BlackBerry's filed a lawsuit in the US accusing Facebook of copying features from BlackBerry Messenger in a violation of its patent rights. BlackBerry, which was once the leader in the smartphone market, says Facebook used its more than 40,000 patents. Facebook said it would fight the lawsuit. And the US plane maker Boeing has snared a Hawaiian Airlines order of wide-body long-haul jets long-haul jets from European rival Airbus. Pressure's been mounting on the two makers to capture and maintain customers in the fiercely competitive industry. From the White House, who's seen as a man who balances out Trump's radical ideas, has spooked investors to a degree in Asia, Japan, down.
Around.
The news briefing with pricing information on their websites. Nina Warhurst has more details.
The Rolling Stones are coming. To town, and I am keen to be there. The secondary ticketing site Viagogo is reselling ticket for $140. but when I go to pay, this happens. Or Ed Sheeran tickets, she thought it was costing less than £300, but that was for one ticket, and after fees were added, more than £1,400 left to account.
I don't actually that this whole practice was very deceptive.
We contacted Viagogo for a response but didn't get a reply. Claire did get her money back, and from today,
Ocean, Robert, Adam, Ida, Nora,
and from today, new guidelines could see secondary sellers prosecuted if they mislead consumers.
We are saying that they've got to be much more clear and upfront about the prices that we are paying. Input how many tickets we want should be the price that we pay at the end.
If you've already forked out fees to see Mick and the gang, you can appeal them, and next time they're on tour, the ticket price...
They've already looked at him, I believe, yeah. But no, like I said, everybody else no injuries, thank goodness. So hopefully we'll have this cleared up in a minute.
You're with the briefing from BBC News. Here are the headlines.
No,
Donald Trump's top economic
in a minute. We got a truck stuck to the back of a car.
Disagrees with the president about his plans to impose steep tariffs on steel and aluminium imports.
No, we're good, Captain. We're good. We're fine, thank goodness.
To welcome the possibility of a global trade war is the latest in a series of high-profile departures from the White House. The US State Department's formally confirmed it believes the North Korean government formally confirmed it believes the North Korean government used the agent VX to assassinate the half-brother of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-nam was attacked at Malaysia's main international airport in February of last year. British chemical experts are working to identify. The British Foreign Secretary has called Russia a malign and disruptive force. So let's dig deeper in some of those stories. Let's have a look. The British Foreign Secretary has called Russia a malign and disruptive force. So let's dig deeper in some of those stories. Let's have a look at how the media is discussing these issues. So we've got the Washington Post and its take on the departure of Gary Cohen, who, as we've already mentioned, has resigned, believes the UK. This paper looks at the allegations that Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to kill the Russian double agent who was poisoned along with his daughter. They're both critically ill in hospital. Arab News is looking at controversial Saudi prince will have lunch with the Queen, hold talks with the Prime Minister as well. Financial Times, Brussels and Paris are due to publicly rebuff Theresa May's proposals to maintain the City of London's access to the EU single market. The paper says European Council President Donald Tusk is likely to offer a more orthodox trade agreement as used in the pact with Canada. Real-life role models with their very own dolls. From the aviator Amelia Earhart to USA Olympic snowboarder Chloe Kim, Barbie has created 17 dolls inspired by impactful women from different backgrounds and occupational fields. Well, we've got Cornelia Mayer with us, who's CEO of MRL Corporation, to talk some of those stories, and saying you had nominated, already discussed. He has decided to leave the White House. Not a big surprise, because we've known that the relationship has not been easy. Already discussed. He has decided to leave the White House. Not a big surprise, because we've known that the relationship has not been easy with President Trump. But what I find interesting in the Washington Post's analysis of this, it says they weren't sudden, they're sharp, but we've known about his protectionist ideas since before he was elected.
Yes, but we always hoped, I think it was hope against hope, or hope against hope, or that it would, the bark would be a lot louder than the bite. And for a year it seemed that the bark was a lot louder than the bite. And then he has these protectionist faction with Navarro So now Steve Mnuchin is probably the only sort of reasonable, that's the Treasury Secretary, is probably the only sort of, for you and me, in you and my view, who are, you know, in you and my view, who are, you know, free traders and want open economies, the last man standing.
So of his team, as it were, I mean, many viewed Gary has been very vocal about his thoughts on this sort of Trump tariff plan, as it were. How far will this go, do you think, in terms of the possibility of trade war? What are your clients saying to you about this?
Well, I think everybody's worried about the trade war, and I think we won't know anything until we really, you know, Trump made the announcement, but as always with Trump announcement, it wasn't followed up STR policies. So when we see that these policies really come into effect there is a real danger. You had a guest on from the EU, and the EU is really trying to get away. I hope we are not going there, because Trump also announced he wants tariffs on European car makers, which really, really worries the Germans.
Now let's have a look at the Daily Telegraph. Putin swore revenge on poisoned Russian spy. That's their front page headline, as it were. Basically, very
445-30 Silver Hollow.
And his regime. Give us your take on this story.
Well, you know, the thing is, at this point, it's all rumors, and we don't know. If it is true that the Russians were behind it, and if it is true that the Russians were behind this
6635
regime,
John Lincoln Henry,
then clearly Her Majesty's government has to do something. But at this point, we are in speculation phase. We do need the proof. Now, it was not clever of Putin to make there a long time. They say many things.
What do you think about the timing? They've got an election coming up in just a few